What's up, YouTube? My name is Brandon Clifton. I have a podcast agency with my buddy and co-founder, Juan, who's behind the camera. He's going to be in this video, so if you want to see a beautiful Latino, stay tuned. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. We want to talk to you today about starting a podcast in 2025, or if you're watching this and it's not 2025, just what you need to know to start a podcast. These are universal truths, and let's just dive into it. The first and really most important thing, it sounds simple. Know your why. Why are you doing this podcast? Is it to connect with your audience? Is it to build a community? Is it to sell a product? Just understanding the motive behind it is going to help, especially whenever podcasting gets tough, because it's going to get tough, not always going to be easy. So going back to why you started is going to help fuel you to get through those hardships. After you have your why, the next step is going to be understanding your niche. Don't overthink this. The best podcasts are the ones that just come naturally, the ones that you could talk about for hours and hours and hours on end without stopping. So whether this is like a religious podcast, this is a business podcast, maybe you're doing a podcast on beekeeping and the process of cultivating the honey, whatever it is, make sure you're passionate about it and you can talk about it for hours on end. Because once you understand your niche, you're going to be able to then do step 3, which is to know your audience. Who are you speaking to? So going back to that example about the founders, you're interviewing founders, your audience is most likely going to be fellow founders, entrepreneurs, business-minded people. And then that's going to help because when you're talking to the camera, you're talking to a guest, you know who you're talking to. The key to podcasting is being specific and really getting into the nitty-gritty about who it is you're speaking to. So for us, we're speaking right now currently to you who is interested in launching a podcast and you want some help on how to do that, right? We know our audience. And so if you're going to launch a podcast, you should also know yours and know your niche. Very important. You know your why, know your niche, you know your audience. You need a podcast name. You already have a great idea. Get a great name. 2-4 words. You don't want to go too long with it or too short, but you do want something a little catchy. So spend some time thinking about it. The name is important, but not as important as the strategy and your personality shining and coming through in camera. That's more important. So think about a really good name and get ready to distribute your podcast. So naming and distribution. You're going to have to then get it set up on platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. You're going to do some work in the beginning to get set up on all the podcast platforms. But after you do that, you can use a hosting platform like Podbean. Plug Podbean because we're not sponsored by them, but we would like to be. Basically, once your episode is ready, you upload it and then it automatically distributes to all those other platforms that you did the work for initially. The way that looks is maybe you post it on Mondays, hit post, and then it goes to Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that based on the time and the parameters that you set in the hosting platform Podbean. There are countless other hosting platforms, but we just like Podbean personally, so.
All right, now let's get into step number 5, your setup and your format of your show. This is your microphones, your cameras, and your recording interface. Let's start with the most important, audio, because with bad audio, people won't stick around. Now, you don't have to go crazy spending thousands of dollars. Something like a USB mic that you can plug in straight into your laptop is more than enough to get started. But if you want to level up, our favorite mic is the Shure SM7B with an interface like the Tascam Portacapture X8. This combo gives you studio quality audio that really takes things up to a pro level. But again, just get the best sounding mics you can afford. For video, it's the same thing. Start simple. So if budget is small, even recording on your phone makes a huge difference. Later on, if you want to level up, what you could do is get a camera like the A7 IV. That's my personal favorite, and that's what we use, and that's what I recommend. Then there's the format of the show. Is it just you doing individual podcasts? Are you bringing people on? Do you have a co-host? Is it all of these things? If you're doing it solo, are you going to be at a desk? Are you going to be at a couch? If you're bringing guests in, are you going to do it in person and virtually? These are just things to just keep in mind. Once you got your setup, step number 6 is recording. But I would say don't launch 1 or 2 episodes your first month. I would recommend for you to do 3 or 4. What we like to do is batch record in one sitting, then release them weekly. That way you're ahead of your schedule and not stressing weekly, because being consistent is everything, so people know when to expect episodes. For example, having 1 episode a week, same day, same time. And when you're recording, I would say don't try to script it. If you need a card with bullet points, that way it kind of jots your memory of what you want to talk about. That helps a lot. So don't stress about perfection. The goal is to just hit record, publish, and start learning. Every single episode will make you better. Now we're at step number 7, which is editing. The good news about editing is you don't have to overdo it. The best podcasts feel conversational and raw. People like the feeling as if you're in the room with them. So you don't have to overdo too much editing. Natural is better. When editing, just clean up the big stuff, cut out any major mistakes like long silences or interruptions. Don't worry about the ums or the short pauses, because if you do, it'll end up sounding robotic. Finally, with edits, a good way to grab attention, I would recommend you to basically make a little highlight in the beginning of each episode, basically like a mini trailer of the whole episode in the beginning, kind of like showing funny moments, interesting parts, anything emotional, anything that you think will grab people's attention. You should do that in the first 20 seconds. And also, since you have that 20-second clip, you can put that into basically Instagram, TikTok, and have a little promo promoting what's coming up. Other than that, I would say keep your edits simple, clean, no crazy effects. Just make sure everything flows and feels natural.
Once your episode is ready, publish it on the hosting platform and write a really good description so people can read about your episode, what you're talking about for that specific one. And really important, don't forget to promote this on your social media. So from that long form video that you have, cut it together into short form content and just blast the thing out onto TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You really want to build momentum and excitement around the upcoming episode, and also just let people know what you're doing and what you're up to. Oftentimes you'll find that some of these clips will go viral on Instagram Reels or TikTok, or maybe friends and family will share a 60-second clip from the episode on Facebook. And this is what's going to bring in a lot of the audience for your episode. And so after you do this, you're going to want to then check the analytics. After about 6 to 12 episodes, I would say it's safe to look at the analytics on platforms like Podbean. Even on YouTube, you can look at the analytics there, but you want to see what your audience is resonating with. So maybe you're doing a mixture of interviews and solo episodes, but your audience is resonating more with the solo episodes. That gives you good data to move forward, and maybe you're just going to start with like solo episodes and continue doing that. Ultimately, you want to stay true to why you started the podcast in the first place, what the goal of the podcast is, but you do want to take feedback from friends, family, your audience, your community, people that are listening to your podcast, and basically just, refine and tweak and make it a little bit better as you go along, because ultimately refinement over a long period of time is what is going to make a successful podcast. You're not going to start a podcast and it be successful overnight. Some people do that, and that's amazing for them. The majority of cases are, and a lot of our clients, is that it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, understanding your niche, your audience, your why, and being very strategic with it, making sure the camera and all of that stuff is there, and being consistent, which is very, 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 very important. Consistency. That's what's going to give you the success of a really good podcast. Be very consistent and make sure you have all of those other things in place. And I promise you, your podcast will do well. You'll build a community and a network of people that really value what you're doing. And ultimately, isn't that what we're here for? We just want to resonate and connect with people. Maybe you're a business that's doing a podcast and you want to just sell products. That's fine too. But I would say connection with people is the most important thing across genres, across businesses, across platforms. And if we can help you in any way, hello@soundspired.com. Somebody from our team will reach out to you. Even if you don't work with us as a client, we're more than happy to just kind of help talk to you about your podcast and maybe some struggles that you're facing. We just really want to build a community of our own, and we're here to support you guys. We're really excited about podcasting and interested in new podcasts. So go out there, create a podcast, and get started.